Hello everyone, welcome back. So in our API testing series, today we are going to see how we can run the API collection from the Postman by using the Postman CLI. Okay, so far we have seen how to run this collection, right? So in our previous session, we have seen that what are the different CRUD operations we can use it and also test by using the test tab into this, and also we have seen how we can really execute this particular collection, right? Like we went into these three dots, and then if you scroll down, you will see an option as run collection here. Okay, and then we were running it manually. Okay, so this is very specific to the running this at your local, right? But think about a way where you have lot of collections are there or lot of different API endpoints that you are trying to run it, and you don't want to really run on this particular system. Okay, you want to take it to somewhere, or else you want to run it by using some CI/CD pipelining, or maybe you don't want to run by using this particular Postman utility. Maybe you want to run by using a command line, because most of the CI/CD pipelines will be using the command line utilities to run your test or any kind of code base. So the same concept applies to here. So you might be aware of the newman tool, right? So newman is a utility tool. It's a npm package tool, which is a third party. It's not from the Postman, but then this helps you to run your collection in terms of a JSON file or out of the box. Like if it is into a local, you can run it by using this particular newman tool actually, and now it gives you a lot of different options how to install it, how to export. You can export this particular collection by doing this export here somewhere. It will be there, and you can see export to a JSON file. You can keep it in any server and then use this newman command to run this. Okay, or even you can take this a utility. Like think about this, if your this particular collection is in online as well, like into the Postman server. Now because I have already logged in to this particular account, now all of my works are saved into the Postman server, and you can use it by using that link as well. Okay, but the same thing, now Postman comes up with their own CLI utility called as a Postman CLI. Now Postman CLI, to work with that, there is a blog actually Postman given that, and you can really look into this particular blog actually to see that. Now the main benefit of Postman is that it is a signed utility. Okay, you don't really need to install as a npm utility, rather than it's a executable file which is given by Postman, and it is signed as well, and you can log into your account whenever you want to run any collection, and then you can run it. You don't need to really share it or export it as your JSON file. So that is the benefit. And also it gives an option, out of box option, where you can copy paste the CI/CD utility YML files, and you can run it by using githubActions or your Bitbucket or anything, or even you can run that into a Docker container as well. Okay, so we'll try to see that how to achieve this Postman CLI and run your collection on the fly. Okay, so for this, what I'm going to do, instead of running it manually, I will go and select this automate run via CLI. Okay, so this is an inbuilt option actually, and the main thing is that you have to install the Postman version 10 and greater than that. If you are using any older versions of the Postman, you will not be getting this option. Okay, so that is one thing. And you can see that the first and foremost thing is that you need to install this utility. Now let's click on this. It redirects us to another blog where they have clearly mentioned about how you can install this utility based on different operating system. Okay, as I am into the Mac, I will simply copy paste this particular curl command, and we know all the curl commands can be run by using the command prompt. So I'll just copy paste, and I will just make sure to enter it, and now it will now installed my Postman CLI. Now how do you know that if this CLI utility is installed? You can use this Postman command -- version, and you should see the version of that Postman. Okay, so that you will come to know the Postman command utility is now installed on your system. Now you can get all the options of this utility. As usual, any of the utilities, they will be providing some help documentation for you, and you can see that there are like couple of commands. One is collection, like to run your collection. API, this is basically to get the APIs directly from the command line. Any of the API calls, you can test it. And as I told, it also gives you an option to log in. This login asks you to have the API key. Now this is nothing but a simple API key which is authenticating your particular account, because from your account you need to get a collection, right? How you are logging in by using the username password, the same thing here. And then after you have executed, so the process would be, first I will be logging in by using my API key, then you are authenticated or authorized to get the access to this particular collection. After that I will use this collection option to run my collection. Okay, each collection will have an ID. I will show you that. Once you have executed, you simply come out of that or you log out. So these are the three different commands which we will be looking in today. Fine. Okay, so let's get into this particular blog actually here. Okay, now how to use that. And if I click on this automated runs by a CLI, I have done the first prerequisite. Now the second thing is that it is telling you need to log in. Now how do I log in? I need to use this particular command. Let's say I want to run it from my command prompt only locally. Now this asks you the API key. From where I will get the API key? As I told, from your own account you can get it. Now I always suggest to log into your Postman so that all of your work will be saved into their server, like how GitHub you are using. And here it is, here you can see that there is an option coming, add API key. So I will click on this and it says that API key is needed to access to the Postman API or to your account or the collections as well. Now I'm choosing an existing key. So there is no existing key at this moment for me. So I'll show you how to generate that. And it is asking me that to like name something. Now I will say that my API key. I'm just giving here and generate it. And you can see that you have to copy this one because this is for the first time only it will be displaying here. Now I have done this copied. So what I'm going to do, I'll paste it into this. Okay, here I will be pasting and I will say enter. And you can see that logged in successfully. Okay, so my first step is done. Now the second step is that I need to copy paste this one. And now I will copy this one. And now let's understand this particular options, Postman options, collection, run. Run means I'm running a particular collection from my account. Now this is the collection ID. Now if you go to this particular settings right here, this always redirects to the Postman server account. And if you go to the view profile and you can see collections, all the collections, all the code collections that you've created is listing down here, and each collection will have their own collection ID. So that is what I have entered here. Now I'm just entering it. Now I have logged in and I'm running my collection, and you can see that this is executing now. Okay, so let's see what are the different errors. Now you can see assertions. Assertions are nothing but this test which I created right here, and you can see a log is also generating here. It's not just limited to this. You can even see all of your executions into the online as well. So let's open the browser and let's go to this and run that particular URL. And because this collection is available into the Postman server, right, that's how you will see all of your execution report as well into that, so that you don't need to maintain a separate separate test report. You can see everything, how many passed, failed, and all these things, how many iterations, what and all, everything you can see. And also you can click on this view run, which will show you how many times you have executed this one as well. Like here also you can see that in your Postman desktop application, go to this runs tab and you can see, and also it gives you an option like which run is happened from your runner. Runner is nothing but from here, the utility itself, and from the Postman CLI. CLI is nothing but the command prompt which I ran. So like that it will also capture the history as well. I'm not sure how many histories it is keeping, but it gives all the report that you can see here. Okay, so that is how you can really execute these things. And after everything is done, then we need to sign out. So let's see into the command prompt and see the, here you can see that the logout option. Now I don't know how to really use this Postman logout command. So what I can do, logout -h. So this will give me the options. Okay, here what exactly I need to do. So here you can see I need to specify the API key actually. So that is what I need to do. Now logout, how I have logged in, right, with this API key. Let me see that. Here you can see, so the same command I will be using, but with the logout command. Okay, I think I don't really need this particular option. I can simply use my API key only. And you can see, are you sure want to log out? I will say yes, and then you have been logged out. So you don't really need to worry about that now. So like this, you can really logging out from there. So this is basically to run this particular collection from your local. Now what exactly is the benefit of here? You don't need to really share this as a JSON or something. Okay, sometimes what happens in your classic approach, you need to export this particular collection as a JSON file. You need to share it to someone, and someone will be accessing this. At this moment, what you can do, you can just keep it as in your account itself only here. Okay, now let's say that someone of your team member want to access it. You just need to share this link only. Now this is not just limited to your command line execution only. As I told, they have an option to even integrate with your CI/CD pipeline as well. Let me show you that. So when you click on this run collection right here, you will see an option here, run on CI/CD pipeline. Like think about this, I don't want to run now. I have updated everything, all the API testing stuff, whatever I wanted to add, I have added, but I want to run on a particular day or on a particular time of a day on a daily basis. Now that is something I cannot do on my system because I might be offline at that moment. So in that case, the CI/CD pipelining will be important actually there. Now let's try to understand, and there is a good documentation as configure this CI/CD configuration here. And for sure, I have already installed the Postman CLI, so no need to worry about that. Environment, you can choose anything. This environment is coming from here. If you have any environment, you have set it. Okay. So, and after that, you can choose which environment or which platform you want to run this, or by using what platform. Let's say I want to use githubActions. Okay. And githubActions normally have the Linux containers or the Ubuntu containers. So I will be leaving that as it is. And you can see it gives you a predefined script or the YML file, which you can use it out of the box. Okay. Now I have this ready, but let me show you how to create an account into the, or a new repository into the GitHub, and then we will run that. Now I will give something Postman -CLI test. I will just make sure that this has to be this, and I'm making it as public, and I will just add some readme. Later I will add that. I'll keep this main branch as my default, create a repository. Okay, and now here what I'm going to do, I'll click on this actions tab, and then here I will just choose this configure. Okay, it's a simple workflow. I don't want to really deal with any kind of JavaScript or anything. It's a simple workflow. I will be using that. And it gives you a default way of giving all these things to usage of that. I really don't need all these things. I will just delete all these things, and I will copy paste what is mentioned into this Postman. Okay, and I will simply copy paste here, and you don't really need to change anything here. I'll tell you that. As I told, I want to run on a Ubuntu machine. Ubuntu is the image that GitHub is giving into the server where I want to execute my collection. Okay, and then checkout. Now actions checkout is a action plugin available with the GitHub Actions, which will help you to first download this particular repo. Actually at this moment I don't have really anything except this workflow only. Okay, fine. Now I need to install the Postman CLI. See, on my machine also how it was not there at the beginning, the same thing for this particular, because every time you will get a fresh image actually. So you need to do everything from scratch. So Postman CLI command, that utility I want to run. Because it is Unix, I need to run this particular command. You can see that for each platform they have already given that. You can see for Mac they are giving OS X, for Linux, Linux 64, the same command they have also introduced here. Okay, now let's say that this particular step is done. The second thing is that I need to log in. You remember we had done the login by using my API key. So the same thing we will be doing that. Now I don't want to really hard code into this because this is public repository. Maybe someone can misutilize my key. I'll tell you how to set up that. And once I have done the login, I can run this collection here. And after that, I can have another step also. Like here, I can add my own and I will say name and colon and I will say that log out. Okay, you can add your own also. It's not just something which is mentioned here, that only you need to specify. And if I want to copy paste that, you can see Postman logout. And you just do that here and then you copy this entire key here. This is a variable. I will show you how to deal with that. Okay, and here you can see a pipeline symbol. Okay, a pipe symbol, but here I'm not giving because into this particular line only I'm specifying that I don't need actually, because this is a long command and they wanted to use it into a new line. That's where it is telling that this run command, though it is a new line, but run it after this only. That's how it is representing. Fine. Now I will be starting this commit. Okay, commit a new file. Now it will throw error actually. Let me show you that. Now if you go to this particular actions, right, and it will take some time for sure. And you can see that it is giving me an error that this particular API key is missing, because it should pick up from your, like if I go to this workflow file, it should take from the secrets option. Now where is this secrets option? Now this is where actually we need to set up. Now go to the settings of your particular repository and then you have to go to this particular option here, secrets, and then you just click on this actions and here new repository secret, and you have to give the name of that. Now the name of that is nothing but this one. Sorry, not this one actually. We have used this one right here, this Postman API key. You can change it to anything actually, but make sure whatever you are specifying here, that should be here as your secret name, and the actual secret key that I will be copy pasting from here. And I'm adding this secret, and then let me go back to these actions, and then here I can rerun it actually. Okay, so here actually I don't have any option to rerun this one. Now what we can do that? So we need to do again a re-triggering actually. Now to trigger that, what I'm going to do here, you can see that it says that only on push commands only this particular workflow or the action will be executing. Now at this moment I don't have any code base to really push from my local to this GitHub. So what I'm going to do here is that I will be renaming this particular file here. So instead of blank, I will say that here I will say Postman, okay, or else I will say Postman underscore git action, some name I'm giving here. And what I'm going to do here I will be using this push command. Along with that, I will be using another command also. So I'll show you that. That is nothing but workflow underscore dispatch. Okay, now what exactly this does, this will always help you to even rerun it manually. Now this is always on a push command only, right? The same thing here, this is always on a manual command actually here. So let's see what is the error it is giving. Okay, it should be dispatch actually. So dispatch. Okay, like that. And now I'm doing a commit and just update this one, and it should trigger now. And if I go to this actions tab, and here you can see that, and let's go inside, and you can see that it is checking out, and it is installing the CLI, logged in, and it is running this particular API test. And you can see that everything become 8 tests got executed, 3 got failed, and everything is done. And I think one of the latency test what we did that got executed, that's why 3 only got failed out of 8. In our local there were 4 got failed, but the intention is not that. And you can see all these assertion errors, those 3 tests which got failed, why exactly they got failed. So those details are there. And also it is telling that you can go to this particular link to see your latest execution report as well. If I come here, you can see run workflow is coming an option, and this is nothing but because of those workflow underscore dispatch what I put, right? Now I can run from any branch, and now when I click on this run workflow, it will again run this particular action, so that you don't really need a push every time actually there. Okay, see, you have to understand one thing. Here I don't have the real time, any kind of, no code is there. My code is already present inside this particular account. Actually I'm just triggering that based on this particular. If you come back here, now how exactly it knows that where is my collection. Now this ID basically specifies that, see, I have done 3 things, right? One is I logged in. Now whenever I successfully logged in, I have couple of collection IDs, right? Let's say I have 10 collections are present in my account. Now from that I'm choosing a right collection, so if it is matching out of my 10 collections, it will run that. Okay, I don't really need to say give the path of that particular collection there, or I don't need to really put my JSON file by exporting that into this GitHub. Then the problem what will happen, the classic or the traditional approach, if I would have done the exporting to JSON and uploading to the GitHub, every time I change something, I need to do that process. I need to delete the existing JSON, I need to override with the new JSON. In this case, I don't really need to do anything. I will update something here, I will save it, this in turn saves into my centralized repository, and then anything that I am here running or triggering, this will always pull the latest collection changes. So that's the benefit of using here. And then you have the signed utility as well. But still, if you are already familiar with Newman and you have already the setup everything, you can still continue with that. But this is some other alternate to do that. Okay, so that's pretty much it actually for today. Hope this particular session is useful. We will see some more interesting topics in our upcoming sessions. Stay tuned and do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.